everyone and welcome to my Reading Skulduggery Pleasant Dark Days reading vlog. Now I'm going to start this reading vlog with a warning because this reading vlog, like all of my previous Skulduggery ones, is going to be heavy on the spoilers. Not just for this but for the entire series. So if you have not read the entire series, do not read this book. Or at least if you haven't read up to the Dying of the Light, do not watch this vlog, essentially, because I'm going to be spoiling it all the way up to that moment, so you have been warned. But essentially this is the fourth book in the Skulduggery Pleasant series. I'm so excited to read this one because we're going into, obviously, the world of the Faceless Ones. We're going more into Valkyrie with necromancy and things like this, and I'm just so excited to be reading this one, so let's get in with it. I love the fact that in this book, Derek Landy will find a way every single time to bring back Scapegrace. Doesn't matter what happens, he always finds a way to bring back Scapegrace, and I just find this hilarious and wonderful. And also, I completely forgot that Sanguine is Scarab's son. Again, I completely forgot this, and I'm like, how do I forget this? Every single time, I just somehow manage to forget that every single time that comes up. Every time, without fail. On page 52, Valkyrie's having a conversation with Ghastly and Tanith. Right, and Tanith says, I don't like going anywhere without my sword. You do realise that if the cleavers come for us, they won't care that we're on the same side. They'll cut us into itty bitty pieces just because they can. And Ghastly says, if that happens, you'll at least die comforted by the fact that you had the moral high ground. And I love that because that's just, it feels so Doctor Who in its way. I feel like, yeah, Ten has definitely had that conversation where he's gone, they can shoot me dead, but at least I'll have had the moral high ground. And I just love that. I absolutely love that. I've just got to the bit where Valkyrie goes into the other world, and what it strikes me is the fact that she's so competent. That sounds really bad, but what I mean is that she's so competent in the sense that she's just like, yep, I'm going to go into this other world, I don't care. And she just goes in by herself. And is completely fine with this. Well, she's scared, but it's like she's still fine with it in the sense that she's just like, yeah, I'm going to be able to do this. And I love how competent and confident she is in her own abilities. I was never like that, like 14, 15. And I just love the fact that with her, she's just like, yep, I'm going to do this. And just does it. I just love that. I really do. Also, I completely forgot to mention, but Davina Ma can choke. I completely forgot about Davina Ma, and quite frankly, she can choke the way she treats Valkyrie in the prison. She can choke. Quite frankly, she can absolutely go choke. And the thing is that I can't remember what actually happens to her. I literally can't remember, so I'm just like, does she die? I hope she dies. I can't remember. I hope she dies in this book or the next one. I think she does, but I can't remember. But either way, she can choke, because I hate her. I totally forgot that China can heal herself. I forgot many things from this book apparently, but I completely forgot that she can heal herself, and I just love the fact that she literally has a spell for literally everything. Practically any like situation they land themselves in, China has a way out of it, and it's generally with a spell extra on her body, and I love that because it just shows how like prepared she is for anything, and I just love that about her. I've just sent a picture of this to Abby, but it's saying, I don't appreciate being followed, Skulduggery said with an edge to his voice. Don't shoot me, the driver yelled. I've had enough of being followed, Skulduggery continued like he hadn't heard him. I'm not in the mood for it anymore. And then it goes on to saying, I usually kill people who follow me, Skulduggery murmured also to himself. That's what happens. They hunt me, they die. Simple. I like to keep it simple. Keep it clean. And I love that because he's forgotten that Valkyrie is there. And you can sort of see this dark side coming out in him. And you can literally see like that, like what everyone's been saying about him not being a good man kind of thing. But I also love the fact as well that it's this sort of starting hint that he's Lord Vile. Like, you don't see it coming still, but I love this fact that you're sort of seeing this darker side to him, and you're starting to see more of like that idea that he is like this dark person, and there is this really dark side to him that is like he just will kill you essentially. And I absolutely love that. I love that you get this sort of hint of dark side in him. I just love it. I've just got to where they've gone to the necromancers, and you get the first bit with Lord Vile saying that Lord Vile was the previous Deathbringer. And it's so interesting knowing that obviously Darkess is the Deathbringer as well, and you've got this idea that both of them were the Deathbringer. Both of them were good at elemental magic and then jumped to like necromancy for a while and turned evil, and it was their dark sides and all the rest of it. And I love that. I love you see that the fact that both of them are two sides of the same coin, in the sense that on one side of the coin you've got Skulduggery and Valkyrie, the good side, and then on the other side you've got Lord Vile and Darkess, and I love that they just perfectly mirror each other like that. And I love that it's very much setting up that idea the whole way through, obviously, of Lord Vile, and knowing that Lord Vile is so evil, but also bringing in the Deathbringer, which is obviously one of the later books. And I just love all of this. I love all the little things that like Derek Landy just sort of drops in all the way through. I love it. Just, oh, I love how like he brings in those similarities and everything is just wonderful. I just love it, but at the same time I'm sitting here going, we're getting there kind of thing, because obviously that's when everything hits the fan, when we find out about Darkess and Lord Vile and all the rest of it. So I'm just like, but at the same time, just so excited to get that. I'm so excited to see what everybody thinks about it. I'm so excited, but oh, it's so good. I'm so loving like seeing all the little hints the whole way through. It just makes me happy, essentially. It just makes me happy. So I've just got through chapter 18, which is where we get the first vision of Darkess, and I'm not kidding, it's starting to rain and thunder and lightning are going on outside. Atmospheric isn't in it, but I'm just sitting here going, oh yeah, all of this is gonna happen now, because I'm just remembering all of the things Darkess did, because I can remember a lot of it, but I can't remember a fair amount of it as well, because I've only read past book 6, I think it is, once. I've read up to book 6 like twice. I've read the first 3 books about 4 times now. And I've gone up to like book 9, The Dying of the Light, like once. And so I've only read those books once. I mean, it was a couple of years ago now. So some of it's hazy, but I still remember a fair bit of it. And I'm just like, oh god, it's all going wrong. But I've got to admit, it's very atmospheric in very dark conditions, like reading the prophecy of Darkess. It's very interesting to read, but I am also thinking here like, it's all about to go wrong. I'm really enjoying this, but I've got to admit the Darkess stuff, I just start going, oh god, because obviously it's battle stations mode, so yeah. And we've also just got to the chapter, The Midnight Hotel, and now I'm sitting here going, wait a minute, isn't the guy who runs this hotel the man with the golden eyes who kills Ghastly? I'm like 90% sure that that's this guy in this one. Or is it Anton Shudder? Yeah, it's Anton Shudder. And I'm just like, is it this guy? I know it's one of the dead men, and I can't remember for the life of me which dead man it is who's the man with the golden eyes. But I think it's Anton Shudder, and I'm just like, oh yeah, now we're getting into like him and the dead men, and now I'm sitting here looking at all of them, like really, I'm looking at all of them really suspiciously now, or will be going forward, because I can't remember who the man with the golden eyes is, and I'm just like, can't remember, and I don't trust any of you. Literally, like the only one I think I can properly trust out of all of the characters in this, who I know doesn't go evil, is Ghastly. That's it. The rest of them I'm just like, I've got to look at all of you suspiciously. And I love that, but at the same time I'm like, can I trust literally anybody? I miss being able to trust people in this on occasion, because now it's like I'm just waiting for them to betray them. But yeah. Either way, as I was saying, Tanith just got kidnapped, and I'm just like, oh no, that happened. Because I forgot about that happening in this book. I thought it was later, so eek. What I love about this book in particular as well is the fact that we actually get like other people's points of view, so we actually see more from like China in this one and stuff like this, and it just cements the fact that I really want like an entire book on China, essentially. I just want an entire book about her life growing up, what she does when she's not wrapped up in whatever Skulduggery's up to. I just want an entire book about her, because she is a stone cold, well, she's not stone cold, but she's nearing stone cold, and she just does whatever needs to be done. And I just love that about her, and I would love an entire book about her. Because she's endlessly fascinating, quite frankly. I just want an entire book on China Sorrows. So badly. So I'm just on page 333 actually, which is chapter 42. And what's really, really interesting here is the fact that they're talking about the fact that, like, the necromancers are talking about the fact that Valkyrie is a natural and she's taken to necromancy faster than, like, anybody since Lord Vile. And it's so interesting to see how the two of them are constantly, like, referred to. Like, Valkyrie, Lord Vile, Valkyrie. And they sort of compare the two, or when they're not talking about that, they say that Skulduggery was dead when Lord Vile was alive. And it's sort of like they're constantly sort of, Derek Landy's constantly making that sort of comparison between the two of them and constantly putting the both of them, like, into it. And it's so interesting to see that, knowing who Lord Vile is. It's so interesting to see that and just sort of see that both sides of the same coin idea again, over and over and over again. And it's so subtle, you don't even notice it, like, the first time you read it. It's so subtle, but it's unbelievably good. So I have now just finished Dark Days. I kind of sped through the last 50 pages without telling you anything because it's the last 50 pages and it all kicked off. But I love the ending of this one because obviously it's this big plot twist that actually Valkyrie is Darkess, and that hit me for 6 the first time it happened. The first time I read that I was like, whoa, and even now it's like, whoa. It's all gonna kick off from here, and I love that. I love, like, the whole way through you've got this idea that she's having headaches and she's got something in the back of her mind that she can't quite put her finger on, and she's having nightmares and headaches, and it's sort of like Darkess is trying to sort of push through in that sense and come out alive. And I love that. I love, like, all of the little hints the whole way through that something's going to happen with Darkess and it's going to be huge. I love, like, the whole Deathbringer stuff. I love, like, how you have this idea of when dusk bites her, that there's something deep within her blood that isn't just the last of the ancients. I love all of it, and I just love the whole idea that obviously now the sanctuary is gone, and it's this whole idea that the sanctuary being gone causes even more problems now, because obviously that means there's so many more sorcerers dead and cleavers dead, and it's just sort of getting darker and darker from here. And I love, like, the darker tones as these books go on, like, in terms of how it all sort of gets darker and darker, in the sense that obviously Valkyrie's going to be losing her family, she's slowly going evil, Skulduggery's turning evil, and everything else. I just love, like, the slow descent into darkness of these books and just how it all comes together. I just love it. I'm just gushing at this point, but I just genuinely love it. I'm just so glad we're into the Darkess stuff now, because it's some of my favourite bits of this entire series. And now, before I gush any further, I'm going to leave this vlog here. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below what you thought when you first saw the Darkess bit. I'd love to know. I'll also leave a link down below to all of my social media if you want to check it out, including to the Comic Book Sanctum, which is my website dedicated to Marvel Comics. And if you want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time, everyone, bye!